Samuel Bennett sat quietly on the bench by the lake, the same place he had come every day for the last 20 years. The morning sun cast a warm glow over the tranquil waters, reflecting the colors of the early autumn leaves. At 83, Samuel found solace in this routine, a respite from the loneliness that crept in after his wife Helen had passed away 5 years ago. As he watched the ripples dance across the lake's surface, his thoughts wandered back to his youth. The water's gentle motion seemed to mirror the ebb and flow of memories that had shaped his life. He closed his eyes and let the nostalgia wash over him, transporting him back to a time when the world was filled with possibility, and he was a young man with a heart full of dreams. Samuel Bennett had been a passionate painter, brimming with aspirations and unyielding enthusiasm. The smell of fresh paint and the feel of a brush in his hand were his greatest joys. His art had been his world, and within that world there had been a muse, his first love, Evelyn. Samuel and Evelyn had met during their first year at art school, an institution renowned for its emphasis on both technical skill and creative freedom. From the moment Samuel saw her, he was captivated. Evelyn had an aura about her, an effortless grace combined with a fierce, independent spirit. She was beautiful, with long auburn hair that framed her delicate face and eyes that sparkled with mischief and intelligence. But it was her talent and passion for painting that truly drew him in. Their first meeting had been accidental. Samuel had been struggling with a particularly challenging perspective in one of his assignments. Frustrated, he had taken a break, stepping out into the school's courtyard for some fresh air. Evelyn was there, seated on a bench, engrossed in her sketchbook. Samuel noticed her before she noticed him, and for a moment, he just watched her. She was drawing the old oak tree that dominated the courtyard, but she wasn't just capturing its form. She was infusing it with life, giving it character and emotion. "Hi," he finally said, approaching her with a tentative smile. "That's a beautiful drawing." Evelyn looked up, surprised but not displeased. "Thank you," she replied, her voice warm and welcoming. "I'm Evelyn." "Samuel," he said, extending a hand. "Mind if I sit?" "Not at all," she said, moving her things to make space for him. They sat there for hours, talking about art, their favorite painters, and their dreams. Samuel found Evelyn's perspectives refreshing. She had a way of seeing the world that was both whimsical and profound. She saw colors in shadows and stories in still life. As they talked, Samuel felt a connection forming, a bond that transcended the physical and delved into the spiritual and intellectual. Their friendship blossomed quickly, and before long, they were inseparable. They spent countless hours in the studio critiquing each other's work, offering suggestions, and pushing each other to new heights. They challenged each other, not just to be better artists, but to be better people. Samuel learned to see the world through Evelyn's eyes, finding beauty in the mundane and magic in the ordinary. One of their favorite activities was painting on fresh air, venturing out into nature to capture the landscapes and scenes around them. They would pack a picnic and set out early in the morning, often not returning until the sun had set. Those were some of Samuel's happiest days, filled with laughter, creativity, and a deepening affection for Evelyn. He remembered one particularly vivid day. They had decided to paint by the river, a favorite spot of theirs. Evelyn, always the more adventurous of the two, had convinced Samuel to wade into the shallow part of the river to get a better view of the cascading waterfall upstream. "Come on, Samuel," she had called, already knee-deep in the water. "The best angle is from here." Samuel, ever cautious, had hesitated. "What if we drop our supplies?" he had asked, holding his easel and paints precariously. Evelyn had laughed, a sound like the tinkling of bells. "Live a little. Art is about taking risks." With a resigned sigh but a smile tugging at his lips, Samuel had followed her into the water. They had spent the day there, capturing the play of light on the water, the vibrant greens of the foliage, and the dynamic movement of the falls. At one point, Evelyn had lost her balance and nearly toppled into the water, causing both of them to burst into fits of laughter. Samuel had reached out to steady her, their hands lingering together just a bit longer than necessary, a silent acknowledgement of the growing feelings between them. Their relationship evolved naturally from friendship to love. It was in the quiet moments, the shared glances, and the comfortable silences that they realized how much they meant to each other. Samuel remembered their first kiss vividly. It had been a cool autumn evening, and they had stayed late in the studio working on a joint project. As they cleaned up, Evelyn had turned to him, her eyes full of emotion. "Samuel," she had said softly, "I think I'm falling for you." His heart had leapt in his chest. "Evelyn, I've already fallen," he had replied, cupping her face gently and kissing her tenderly. It was a kiss that spoke of promises and dreams, a kiss that sealed their bond. However, life had a way of pulling people apart. As they entered their early 20s, the pressures of their burgeoning careers began to mount. Opportunities arose that required them to make difficult choices. Evelyn was offered a prestigious apprenticeship in Europe, while Samuel was presented with a chance to have his work showcased in a major gallery in New York. They were both young and ambitious, and the paths they needed to take for their individual growth led them in different directions. Their parting was dramatic and filled with the raw emotion of young love torn apart. The night before Evelyn was set to leave for Europe, they met in their favorite spot by the river. The usual tranquility of the place now seemed overshadowed by the weight of their impending separation. Evelyn arrived first, her eyes red from crying. She had always been the strong one, the one who saw challenges as opportunities. But this was different. Samuel found her sitting on the large rock where they often sat to paint, her sketchbook forgotten beside her. "Evelyn," he said softly, coming up behind her. She turned, and the sight of her tear-streaked face broke his heart. "Samuel," she whispered, standing up and moving into his arms. They held each other tightly, neither wanting to let go. "This can't be the end for us," Samuel said, his voice filled with desperation. "We can find a way to make it work. We can write, visit each other." "Samuel, it's not that simple," Evelyn interrupted, her voice choked with emotion. "We both have dreams, opportunities that we can't pass up. This apprenticeship in Paris, it's everything I've ever wanted. And your exhibition in New York, it's your big break. We can't hold each other back." "I don't care about any of that," Samuel said fiercely. "I care about you. We can make it work. I know we can." Evelyn shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I love you, Samuel, but we both know that long distance is hard, and we're just starting our careers. We have to focus on that. Maybe one day, when the time is right, we'll find our way back to each other." Samuel's heart felt like it was being torn in two. "You're asking me to let you go. I don't know if I can do that." Evelyn reached up, cupping his face in her hands. "We have to, for now. Promise me, Samuel, that you'll follow your dreams. Don't let anything hold you back, not even us." With a heavy heart, Samuel nodded. "I promise, but know that I will always love you, Evelyn, no matter what." Evelyn smiled through her tears. "And I will always love you. You've been my muse, my love, my everything. We will always have these memories, and maybe one day we'll create new ones." They kissed, a kiss filled with longing and heartbreak, a kiss that held all their unspoken words and promises. As the dawn broke, they held each other one last time, committing the feel of each other to memory. Then, with tears and heavy hearts, they parted ways, each taking a piece of the other with them. Samuel watched as Evelyn walked away, her figure slowly fading into the early morning light. He felt a profound emptiness, a void that he knew would never be fully filled. He stood there for a long time, watching the sunrise, letting the new day wash over him. In the weeks and months that followed, Samuel threw himself into his work. He moved to New York, and his exhibition was a resounding success. Critics hailed his paintings as masterpieces, filled with emotion and depth. But no matter how much acclaim he received, a part of him always felt incomplete, always yearned for Evelyn. Evelyn, too, found success in Paris. Her apprenticeship turned into a flourishing career, and she became known for her innovative techniques and expressive art. But, like Samuel, she carried a piece of their past with her, a silent muse that influenced her work. They wrote to each other at first, long letters filled with news of their successes and the ache of their separation. But as time went on, the letters became less frequent. Life moved forward, new relationships were formed, and slowly the letters stopped altogether. Yet neither of them ever truly forgot the other. Samuel moved on, finding love and companionship with Helen, a kind and supportive woman who had shared his passion for art. They had built a life together, raising a family and creating a home filled with warmth and creativity. Samuel had no regrets about his life with Helen, but there was always a small part of his heart that belonged to Evelyn, a part that wondered what might have been. Now, as an old man, sitting by the lake and reflecting on his past, Samuel felt a pang of melancholy mixed with a sense of gratitude. He had lived a rich and fulfilling life, but the memory of Evelyn still lingered, a beautiful ghost from his youth. He wondered where she was, if she was still painting, if she ever thought of him. The sound of laughter brought him back to the present. Samuel opened his eyes and saw a group of children playing nearby, their joyous shouts filling the air. He smiled, appreciating the simple pleasures of life. Just then, his gaze shifted to the young woman seated on the grass, engrossed in her sketchbook. There was something about her that reminded him of Evelyn, the same intensity, the same passion. Drawn by an inexplicable urge, Samuel rose from his bench and approached her. "Excuse me, miss," he said gently, not wanting to startle her. "Do you mind if I take a look at your work?" The young woman looked up, surprised but smiling warmly. "Of course, sir," she replied, tilting the sketchbook towards him. Samuel was taken aback by the quality of her work. The lines were precise yet fluid, capturing the essence of the scenes she was sketching. "You have quite a talent," he said, genuinely impressed. "May I ask your name?" "Anna," she replied. "Anna Mitchell. And you, sir?" "Samuel Bennett," he answered, offering his hand which she shook delicately. "I used to be a painter myself many years ago. Seeing your work brings back memories." Anna's eyes lit up. "Really? That's amazing. Do you still paint?" "Not as much as I used to," Samuel admitted, "but I would be happy to give you some pointers if you'd like." "I would love that," Anna exclaimed. "Thank you, Mr. Bennett." Over the next few weeks, Samuel and Anna developed a routine. They met by the lake almost every day, and Samuel guided her through techniques, perspectives, and the subtleties that turned a good painting into a great one. Anna was an eager learner, and their bond grew stronger with each lesson. One afternoon, while flipping through Anna's sketchbook, Samuel's heart skipped a beat. He froze as he came across a portrait of a woman who looked eerily familiar. She had the same warm eyes and gentle smile as Evelyn. "Who is this?" Samuel asked, his voice trembling slightly. Anna looked at the drawing and smiled. "That's my grandmother," she said softly. "Her name was Evelyn. She taught me how to paint. I really miss her, as since she passed away it was hard to make art alone. That's why I'm so glad meeting you, as you are helping me with painting a lot, like she did." Samuel felt a rush of emotions, shock, confusion, and a pang of sorrow. "Evelyn?" he echoed. Did she ever mention someone named Samuel Bennett?" Anna's eyes widened in surprise. "Yes, she did. She told me about a Samuel she knew in her youth. They were very much in love, but they lost touch. She always spoke of him with such fondness." Samuel's eyes filled with tears. "Anna, Evelyn was my first love. I never forgot her." Anna was stunned into silence. After a moment, she said, "She never forgot you either, Mr. Bennett. She always hoped to see you again." The revelation left Samuel reeling. He needed to know more to understand the life Evelyn had lived after they parted ways. Anna shared stories her grandmother had told her, stories filled with love, art, and the deep, unspoken bond that had always connected them. The revelation about Evelyn left Samuel with a mix of emotions. His heart ached with the bittersweet knowledge that Evelyn had never forgotten him, even as she pursued her own dreams. It was a profound realization that despite the distance and the years, their love had endured in their memories and their art. As the days passed, Samuel found himself increasingly drawn to the idea of honoring Evelyn's memory in a way that celebrated both her life and their shared passion for art. He often found solace in his studio, surrounded by the paintings that had defined his life. Each brushstroke carried a piece of his soul, and many of those pieces were shaped by his time with Evelyn. One evening, as he sat in his studio lost in thought, he picked up one of his older sketchbooks. Flipping through the pages, he saw sketches of places they had visited together, portraits of Evelyn captured in moments of quiet beauty, and studies of her hands as they worked on a canvas. The memories were vivid, and he could almost hear her laughter, see her smile, and feel the warmth of her presence. Samuel knew that Evelyn had been more than just a muse to him. She had been a partner in creativity, a kindred spirit who had influenced his art in profound ways. He realized that their story, their love, and their art deserved to be shared with the world. It was a story of passion, dedication, and the enduring power of love. The idea of organizing an art exhibition in Evelyn's honor began to take shape. Samuel wanted to create a space where their intertwined lives and artistic journeys could be showcased. He imagined an exhibition that would feature both his and Evelyn's works, side by side, telling the story of their connection and the impact they had on each other's art. He envisioned a gallery filled with their paintings, sketches, and studies, curated to highlight the evolution of their styles and the moments that had defined their relationship. The exhibition would be a tribute to Evelyn's talent and spirit, as well as a testament to the timeless bond they shared. One morning, as he and Anna sat by the lake discussing her latest sketches, Samuel shared his idea with her. "Anna, I've been thinking," he began, his voice thoughtful. "Your grandmother and I shared something truly special. Our love for each other and our passion for art were deeply intertwined. I want to honor that." Anna looked at him, curiosity and anticipation in her eyes. "What do you have in mind, Mr. Bennett?" "I want to organize an art exhibition in Evelyn's honor," Samuel explained, "a retrospective that celebrates her life, her art, and our shared journey. It will feature both of our works, showing how we influenced each other and how our love for art brought us together." Anna's eyes lit up with excitement. "That's a wonderful idea. I think my grandmother would be so touched. I'd love to help you with it." Samuel smiled, grateful for her enthusiasm. "I can't do it alone, Anna. I need your help to make this dream a reality. We'll need to gather her works, curate the exhibition, and plan the event. It will be a lot of work, but I believe it's worth it." Over the next few weeks, Samuel and Anna worked tirelessly to bring the exhibition to life. They reached out to galleries, contacted collectors who owned Evelyn's pieces, and scoured through old storage units for her works. Anna shared stories and insights about her grandmother's later years, providing a deeper understanding of Evelyn's artistic evolution. As they pieced together the collection, Samuel felt a renewed sense of purpose. He saw the exhibition not only as a tribute to Evelyn, but also as a way to bring closure to their story. It was an opportunity to honor her memory, to celebrate their love, and to share their journey with others. They decided to title the exhibition Eternal Echoes: The Art and Love of Evelyn and Samuel. The name reflected the lasting impact they had on each other and the way their love and art resonated through time. The day of the exhibition arrived, and the gallery was filled with people eager to see the collection. The walls were adorned with paintings that spanned decades, each piece telling a part of their story. Samuel's heart swelled with pride and emotion as he walked through the gallery, seeing their works displayed together for the first time. Guests moved through the exhibition, admiring the beauty and depth of the artworks. There were moments of quiet reflection as viewers took in the pieces, understanding the love and creativity that had fueled them. Samuel received countless compliments and expressions of admiration for both his and Evelyn's work. Anna had arranged a small section of the gallery dedicated to personal mementos and photographs, offering a glimpse into the lives behind the art. There were photos of young Samuel and Evelyn, their faces filled with hope and excitement, as well as letters and sketches that documented their journey. The evening of the exhibition was a whirlwind of emotions and memories. Guests moved through the gallery, admiring the works of both Samuel and Evelyn, the paintings speaking of a love that had transcended time. Samuel and Anna were busy greeting visitors and sharing the stories behind the art. As Samuel stood by a particularly poignant portrait of Evelyn, he was approached by an elderly woman who asked softly, "Can you tell me about this piece?" Samuel turned, and his heart nearly stopped. The woman bore a striking resemblance to Evelyn, yet time had added lines of wisdom and experience to her face. "Of course," he began, his voice shaking slightly. "This was painted by Evelyn, a dear friend and my first love." The woman smiled warmly, her eyes twinkling with a familiar mischief. "A dear friend, you say?" "Yes." Samuel nodded, feeling a strange sense of déjà vu. "We studied together, and she inspired much of my work." "Samuel," the woman said softly, taking a step closer, "it's me. It's Evelyn." His glass of wine slipped from his hand, shattering on the floor and drawing the attention of the nearby guests. For a moment, there was silence, followed by a murmur of curiosity. Anna rushed over, concern etched on her face. "Mr. Bennett, are you all right?" Anna asked, her eyes darting between Samuel and the woman. Samuel, his voice filled with awe, said, "Evelyn, is it really you?" Evelyn nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "Yes, it's me. I've come to see our story, our art, and to find you." A voice from the crowd chimed in, "Is this part of the show? It's better than TV." Laughter rippled through the gallery, breaking the tension. Samuel and Evelyn laughed too, the humor easing the weight of the moment. Samuel addressed the onlookers. "Ladies and gentlemen, meet Evelyn, the true inspiration behind this exhibition." Applause filled the room. Anna, standing by, smiled brightly. "I'm so happy for you both." As the crowd dispersed, giving them a moment of privacy, Samuel and Evelyn moved to a quiet corner of the gallery. "I thought I'd lost you forever," Samuel said, his voice filled with emotion. Evelyn squeezed his hand. "I never stopped thinking about you, Samuel." Anna joined them, looking at Samuel with a gentle smile. "Mr. Bennett, there's something I need to explain. The Evelyn you knew was my grandmother's cousin. My grandmother, also named Evelyn, was often mistaken for her. She taught me to paint and told me many stories about her cousin's first love." Samuel's eyes widened in realization. "So your grandmother, she loved you too in her own way," Anna said softly. "But she wasn't the Evelyn you remember. Your Evelyn has been waiting for this moment as much as you have. So I decided to make a surprise." The revelation was both shocking and comforting. Samuel turned to Evelyn, the real Evelyn, feeling a rush of emotions. "All these years I thought I had lost you, and yet here you are." Evelyn smiled, her eyes reflecting the same love and hope that had always been there. "Life took us on different paths, but it never took you out of my heart." Their reunion was poignant and filled with the weight of years lost and dreams deferred. They spoke about their separate lives, the choices they had made, and the love that had persisted through it all. As the exhibition wound down, Samuel and Evelyn stepped outside, the night air cool and refreshing. They walked to the lake where they had spent so many youthful days painting together. The moonlight danced on the water, casting a serene glow. "I want to start again, Evelyn," Samuel said, his voice breaking the peaceful silence, "to create new memories and live the life we always dreamed of." Evelyn's smile was radiant. "I want that too, Samuel. I've waited so long for this moment, and I'm ready to face whatever comes our way." Their kiss was tender, filled with the promise of a future built on love and resilience. As they sat by the lake, the ripples reflecting their intertwined past and hopeful future, they knew they were exactly where they were meant to be. Their journey had been long and winding, filled with joy and sorrow, but it had led them back to each other. And in that moment, Samuel and Evelyn felt a profound peace, knowing that true love had indeed found its way home.